how's it going, guys? This is Twister, and today I'm back with another GTA Online video on the import and export DLC. And in this video I'm going to be showing you guys all of the special vehicles that were added into the game and all of the special vehicle missions that they're in, because man, these missions are probably one of my favourite parts of the DLC right now. It just gives you a chance to use these awesome vehicles and then also get a discount on them. So if you are thinking about buying any of the new special vehicles, make sure you do these missions first, that way you get a discount on, and it's just an awesome way to get to use these vehicles before having to purchase them. So I thought I'd do this video to sort of do a guide on all the missions themselves and show you the vehicles as well. So we'll start in order. We'll go with the ramp buggy. This is the first mission that you unlock, and you actually have to unlock these missions by stealing cars and delivering them to your warehouse. So every 4 cars you deliver to your warehouse, you will get you will unlock a new special vehicle missions, and this one is the ramp buggy. All of these missions are pretty simple, but they're all really fun. They're pretty much like Fast and Furious style vehicle based heists, and in this one you've actually got to help a heist team escape from the Union Depository and then use the ramp buggy to help you guys get away. So once you get to the Union Depository, there's quite a few cops that you got to take down, let the heist crew into the Rumpo Custom, and then use the ramp buggies to help you guys get away. Now unfortunately I wasn't driving the ramp buggies in this one, I was just doing it with 2 teammates. Those guys were in the ramp buggies, but as you can see, once you get to the freeway, once you get to escape in, man, the ramp buggy just does absolute work. It flips any vehicle pretty much. I don't know if there's a single vehicle in the game that the ramp buggy cannot flip. So as long as the ramp buggies stay ahead, they'll just flip over all of the cop cars, they'll deal with the roadblocks, they'll pretty much just deal with anything in your way. So you know, it just clears a path for the Rumpo Custom, and you guys can pretty much just complete this mission really easy. I think in this mission the ramp buggy has unlimited armor, but if you actually purchase it to use it in free mode, then it does have limited armor, so you can only flip like a limited number of cars before it'll get destroyed. I think it's somewhere around 30, that's what I've heard around. So for something that costs around 2 million, having it destroyed after flipping about 30 cars or so, I think that's a little weak in my opinion. I think that's something that should be changed, so bear that in mind if you are considering purchasing the ramp buggy. So next up, the next special vehicle is the Wastelander, and again this is a pretty simple mission. Go to location, shoot up a load of enemies, steal the Wastelander. There is actually a buzzard at the same location as well, which is really helpful. So if you're playing with teammates, make sure one of the teammates gets in the buzzard, because there's a lot of enemies to deal with in this mission. So yeah, buzzard's pretty helpful, and because there's loads of enemies trying to kill you, it's best to take the Wastelander off-road, and that is pretty much what this thing is built for. It's a proper off-roader. It's a pretty menacing looking vehicle. In the actual mission, you're transporting like a beaten up ruiner, so having it as a transport vehicle actually works in this mission. But from what I've heard, you can't actually use it as a transport vehicle once you purchase it in free mode, which is kind of the whole point of this DLC. You know, when you're selling and stealing cars, being able to transport those cars on this vehicle would be really useful. But if you can't do that in free mode, it just kind of makes it really useless. So I don't know what's going on with that. They should just make it so you can put the cars on the back of this truck, because that is kind of what this thing is built for. I'm pretty sure it's based off of one of the vehicles in, I think it's the Fast and Furious 5 movie, where they're hijacking the vehicles from the train. I think it's pretty much identical to that vehicle used in the Fast and Furious movie, as a lot of these vehicles are. A lot of them are like based off of Fast and Furious and stuff like that, which is really cool to see. But the Wastelander, I know, a little bit useless if you can't actually use it as a transport vehicle. But it is also the cheapest, so if you just want to get it for the sake of having it, then obviously feel free. And also something that I haven't mentioned, buying any of these special vehicles will also unlock a specific VIP work mode that you can use as a CEO from the interaction menu as well. Now next up we've got the Aqua Blazer. This is a really fun vehicle, but I don't really see it having much practical use when purchasing it in free mode. Obviously it's got the amphibious capabilities, which is really fun, just being able to transition from land to sea instantly. If you hold right on the D-pad, it retracts the wheel, so it gives you a lot more speed on water, and just yeah, going from land to water is a lot of fun. And in this actual mission you are making use of the amphibious practicality of this vehicle, and you're also using the machine guns on the front. However, the machine guns on the front, they aren't really that good. I think it's pretty much exactly the same as the machine guns on a Buzzard, which almost no one ever uses because the rockets are just way better. So being stuck with the normal machine guns on the front of this Aqua Blazer, and also you can't aim it separately from steering, so it'll just shoot in a straight line exactly where you're facing. So not being able to aim it, it just makes it really hard to use. It's almost useless trying to kill enemies. Any enemies that come up in this mission, you just want to hop off the Blazer and use a machine gun. But the machine guns on the front do come in handy when you're trying to destroy the moving vehicles. So you've got to destroy a load of moving trucks once you go back down the river, and then you've also got to shoot up a load of dinghies as well. The machine guns there are pretty useful, but aside from being able to use them in this mission, obviously Rockstar have really targeted the stuff you do in the mission for the functionality of the vehicle. But in free mode, I don't see it really getting that much use and being that practical over the other special vehicles, in my opinion. So although it's definitely a lot of fun to use, again, I just don't see it being worth the price. I think it's again around the 2 million mark. I'm not exactly too sure on the price of it, but yeah, I just don't think it's worth the 2 million for buying it and using it in free mode. Next up, we've got the Phantom Wedge, and this is another insane vehicle. It's a bit like the ramp buggy. You just use it to plow through any vehicle, and a bit like the ramp buggy, I don't think there's any vehicle in the game that stands a chance against this thing, because in the mission, just plowing into cop cars, just absolutely shoving them miles into the air or miles to the side. It's a pretty insane vehicle. I think, again, similar to the ramp buggy, in this mission, it's really well armoured, so you can just plow through any number of vehicles, and there's quite a lot of cops in this mission. But I think once you buy it in free mode, again like the ramp buggy, it comes with a lot less armour, so you're just not going to get the same use out of it compared to in the mission, because it's just going to get destroyed a lot quicker. It's just not going to be able to maintain its use for that long before it gets destroyed, which is a shame. I think for the amount of money you've got to pay for these vehicles, they should kind of be as overpowered as they need to be, as they are in these missions, because they are insanely fun to use. This Phantom Wedge is brilliant to use in this mission, but if you're buying it in free mode and you're plowing through cops and other players, and then it just gets destroyed after shoving through a few vehicles, then it just makes it feel like it isn't worth the amount of money you're paying for it. So I think that's definitely something that needs to be looked at when it comes to these vehicles being used in free mode. Hopefully Rockstar maybe be able to change it so they come with more armor, so you can destroy and smash through loads more vehicles before they get even a tiny bit damaged. But going back to this mission, it's a pretty simple one. It is a long one though. You've got to go to 3 separate locations, steal a load of drugs from a tray, and pretty much the whole time you've got cops on you. So you need to be careful. You can have teammates on the back of the truck, but they've got pretty much no cover, so you need to be careful that you're not driving into loads of cops and just getting killed instantly. So what I did, once one of your teammates is collecting the drugs, I just found it easier to park the truck pretty much in front of them, so they've got all the cover they need, and then, you know, once they've finished, you can just drive off easily. But yeah, you're still going to have a load of cops chasing you. There's going to be a load of cops trying to kill you as you're taking the drugs. So but yeah, there's the Phantom Wedge, another pretty insane vehicle added in with this DLC. Now the next special vehicle we got is the Rocket Voltic. Again, I feel like I'm saying this every time, but it's true. This vehicle is insane. It's just got a massive rocket attached to the back of it, which gives you an insane speed boost. Think of the speed boost you get in stunt races times 1,000. That is literally how fast this thing goes once you hit the speed boost. And you can activate it whenever. So if you've just done some kind of stunt jump, you tilt your car backwards, facing upwards, hit the speed boost, and you're pretty much flying into orbit. That is how sick this thing is. Now in the mission, you're just using it to get close to these vehicles to initiate some sort of hack. I didn't know if you're supposed to kill them, so I was just kind of driving behind them while it's completing the hack, trying to dodge all the bullets. But in this one, I don't really feel like you're fully making use of this absolutely amazing speed boost that's on the back of it. You just kind of use it to get to the destinations quicker because, you know, massive speed boosts get to places fast. And in the mission, it does have a relatively short cooldown. You can spam it like once every 5 seconds or so. But similar to some of the other vehicles, once you buy it in free mode, the cooldown timer for the boost is significantly increased compared to how it is in the mission. So I don't get why Rockstar are changing how they perform in free mode compared to the missions that you use them in. Probably just to stop them from being completely overpowered, but I really don't think it's that much of an issue with some of these vehicles, especially when you're paying so much for them. But there's the Rocket Voltic. This is probably one that I'm definitely going to have to end up buying to use in free mode. Now next up we've got the Technical Aqua, and I've got to say I think out of all of them this is one of my favourite of the special vehicle missions because, well, you basically got to assault a yacht with the Technical Aqua, again like the Blazer Aqua, just transitioning from land and sea completely freely. It's just a lot of fun, and just storming a yacht with so many enemies to shoot. You've got enemies on dinghies, you've got enemies in buzzards, and then you've got enemies on the yacht as well. There's so many enemies to shoot in a short amount of time. I think it's probably one of my favourites of the special vehicle missions. And yeah, the mission itself, storming a yacht, you just gotta, again, similar to the other ones, shoot up a load of enemies, get onto the yacht and destroy some of the drugs on it, get back in the Technical Aqua, and then start shooting up some more enemies. It's a really fun mission, and the Technical Aqua was really fun to use, but similar to the Blazer Aqua, I think it's definitely more useful than the Blazer Aqua because you've got the massive turret on the back, which is insanely powerful. But it's just something I don't see really getting used too much in free mode. But nevertheless, a ton of fun to use and a really fun mission to go with it. Next up we've got the Armoured Boxville, and this one is like a proper zombie apocalypse style armoured truck that also has a massive turret on the top of it. I think the turret is exactly the same that you'd get on an insurgent pickup, and then similar to the Phantom Wedge, you've got a little ramp on the front of it so you can just plow through any vehicle, and again it's a lot of fun to use, especially in this mission. In the mission you've got to go to the power station, steal some sort of transmitter, and then again escape with loads of Merryweather troops chasing after you. So the turret is really useful, just being able to plow through all the vehicles, again really useful. And of course it's pretty well armoured, but not against explosives. I don't think it's got any explosive resistance, so one explosion will kill it instantly. So for use in free mode, I really don't see it being that practical, especially compared to an insurgent pickup. The insurgent pickup has got the exact same turret on the top of it. I think it can hold more players inside of it, and it's got way more explosive resistance. So yeah, the Armoured Boxville compared to an insurgent pickup, it just doesn't really seem that useful. It just feels like in every situation you'd rather have an insurgent pickup. And yeah, this Armoured Boxville looks insanely cool. You've got just, well, basically a zombie apocalypse style to it, and I think having that ramp on the front of it just makes it a lot more capable of smashing vehicles out your way compared to an insurgent. And just like the Phantom Wedge, that is a lot of fun to do. Any vehicle that just comes in your way, it doesn't stand a chance basically. But as I mentioned, for using in free mode, I think just the fact that it doesn't have any explosive resistance is something that's really going to let it down, especially for the amount of money you got to pay for it. Again, I don't know, I can't remember the exact price, but it's probably a couple million, just like a lot of the other ones. So for that amount of money, you'd really expect it to have some sort of explosive resistance, because everyone, literally everyone in GTA Online these days always seems to have an RPG or a sticky bomb just to take you down instantly. So it just leaves you incredibly vulnerable, but still a lot of fun and definitely a fun mission. Now finally, the one I reckon you guys have been waiting for. This is the one mission that I was waiting for as well. It's the last mission you unlock, so you've got to steal 32 cars and deliver them to your warehouse, and you'll finally unlock this mission for the Ruiner 2000. And this one is just such a brilliant mission. You start with a free fall or an airdrop into the Zancudo military base, and then you parachute down and you pretty much blow up everything in the Zancudo military base. You've got the rockets, I think you've got a machine gun as well, but I literally just exclusively used the rockets in this mission. And then I think my favourite thing about this is just the absolutely crazy power hop that just launches you about 20 feet up into the air, and then at that same time you can activate the parachute, you can fire rockets at people. And I think just this mission is the perfect demonstration of the capabilities of this vehicle. It was so much fun just to drop in, parachute down, blow everything up, and then escape the fences by jumping over them. There's nothing like it in GTA at all, nothing like it. It can leap about 20 feet up into the air, it can fly with its parachute, it has machine guns, it has lock-on rockets. However, I think there's a couple of things that definitely does let it down. Again, I don't think it really has much explosive resistance, It's by far the most expensive vehicle in the game. Well, land vehicle. There's the golden jet, which is completely useless, which is 10 million. But this is 5.7 million, or I think it's 4.5 after you get the discount for playing the mission. And then once you purchase it in free mode, it only has a limited number of rockets that you can use before you have to, I think you go back to your vehicle warehouse to restock all the ammo. I think it's 8 rockets in total before you've got to restock it with rockets. So again, it just makes it a little more underpowered than perhaps what it should be for 4.5 million. But I don't think it really takes away of the fun too much, just simply being able to fly about with a parachute and jump around over obstacles and over buildings or whatever. Probably my favourite. It was definitely my favourite mission, this and the mission for the technical Aqua. And I think overall these missions are definitely one of my favourite parts of the DLC. So there we go. That's all of the special vehicles and the special vehicle missions. Just wanted to show these all for you guys in one video. I know it's been a long video, but that's because we've had 8 of them to get through. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have found it helpful and you have found it useful, make sure you leave it a like rating, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I'll hopefully see you all in my next video. See you later, guys.